Hello, hello, welcome. We are going to cook some delicious spaghetti here live. I know I've done this before on other videos, but this time we're live and I've got better camera angle. I'm not using that old tablet, I'm using a real computer. So we're going to go over and make some delicious spaghetti. And you just sit back here. I can adjust angles, get everything just right, like I have in my previous videos. So you just sit right back. You're going to see how to make spaghetti like a pro. Alrighty. So, first thing you got to do is get some meat. I got some ground beef, fresh from E-Mart Traders. It's kind of like Costco, except for the membership's free. So, some ground beef. We actually bought a ton of it and put most of it in the freezer. We saved this for today's meal. So, I got my pan, I got my beef. We're going to drop that meat right in here. There we go. A little bit wants to get away. Let's not waste it. All right. There we go. Get that. And wash these hands. All right. So, got the beef. Where's the beef? Beef's here. That's only part of it. I love meat. But I also love my veggies. So, I like to put lots of veggies in my stuff. So, we are going to grab ourselves some good old Kirkland frozen veggies. Kirkland's this Costco store brand. Give me some money, Costco, please. Okay. Anyway, we're going to throw these suckers in the pan. I'm going to buy plenty of we buy things in bulk. It's just the way to go. We either go to E-Mart Traders or we go to Costco. Pretty much almost everything we buy comes from one of those two places. We like to save money. So now you see I got lots and lots of veggies in the pan. But I'm going to do one more thing. My wife really likes onions, and she's turning me into an onion lover too. So that we're gonna have to do fresh. So as I put away these vegetables, I'm gonna go find an onion in our pantry. We're gonna chop that thing up. Hold on. All right, so let us get an onion. All right. Here we go. Here we got ourselves an onion. And I got myself a French chef's knife. Not my favorite one. I actually have a nice high quality Cutco one, but this will be good enough for our purposes today. So I slice on this onion. Unfortunately, has gone a little ripe on us. We'll cut out the parts that aren't going to be good, and I think it's mostly a good onion. All right, so cutting out all those parts that aren't so fresh. Toss those away. Oh, let me adjust my camera angle. I'm getting better at this stuff now, guys. I can bend this down and show you the cutting action. All right, we got a little bit of stuff we just don't want that's gotten a little too ripe, and we're just going to take that stuff away. There we go. Get rid of this stuff. Just needs to go away. There we go. This is mostly how I want it. Got all this stuff. Stuff, unfortunately, just wasn't faring too well. That's all right. Okay. Let's pick along at this a little. I'm going to take this now to the sink and wash it down a bit. Alrighty. This last little not so good pieces of the onion out. Let's pitch this. There we go. Alright, now we got a decent onion. Lost a bit of it, but that's life. Alright, so here we go. Now, trick to using a French chef knife. I never knew how to do this. Trick to it. Now, it sounds scary, but it's actually perfect. It's the safe way. You'll never cut yourself doing this. Believe it or not, you put your hand on the top of the blade. Trust me on this. The top of the blade's not sharp. You create a rocking motion like this. This gives you control of the blade, and you will never cut yourself because your fingers are safe on the top of the blade. So, I'll let you see the cutting action rather than my face. As handsome as it is. All right. Put the peel there. There we go. Now, we're going to go like that. Let's go. Chop. 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 Some people cry from onions. I don't really cry from onions for some reason. They just don't bother me that much, to be honest. Like, sometimes get a few tears, but not much. Onions just don't bother me. All right, now we are going to toss these things in the pan. Now look at this. We got beef, we got veggies, we got onions. Looking good, looking good. I want to check and see if we got anything else hidden inside. The vegetable crisper. I know we have a little cabbage, but I don't think cabbage is good for spaghetti. Just give me a second here. We'll see. Oh, yes. A few jalapeno peppers. Yummy, yummy. Okay, so we're going to grab. Now, the thing is weird. I'm American and my wife is Korean, and people think Americans are kind of not big fans of spicy food, but actually I like my food spicier than my wife does. She likes spicy, but I like things super spicy, so I can't do too many of these. I think I can get away with 4. It's not spicy enough for me. I actually have Carolina Reaper spice that I can put on. The sexiest pepper in the world. I actually keep it right on the table as a regular condiment. Right here, it has the Grim Reaper on the can. Carolina Reaper. This stuff is the spiciest pepper you can get. And it's a way I can go over and make my food as spicy as I please. So I'm just going to chop off the stems on these peppers. It's a small thing you don't really need to do, the hand on top of the blade. That's when you need control. For these, I don't really need to do that. All right, so I got these things off. Okay. Now just line these things up. Now I'll use the top. Yeah, chop, 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 chop. The French chef knife is a very useful knife. Just goes over and look at that. You don't need kitchen gadgets. You just need a French chef knife. And there we go. We just take this. We take the back side of the knife and slide that thing in there. Look at that. There she goes. All nice and ready. Now we got lots and lots of vegetables and ground beef. Now, little trick, we need some water. Don't want to burn the beef while we're doing this. That's important. Burning the beef. Now, I have lived in Korea for almost 20 years. I've become quite the fan of finding ways to use chopsticks. Here's a nice pair of just simple disposable chopsticks. These things are very useful. They won't scratch the pan, and you could pick things up, move them around while you're cooking. These are excellent cooking tools. You'll see that. We do have metal chopsticks that we often use while eating, but those would really mess up the coating on the pan. We don't want to use metal chopsticks to scratch all the coating off the pan. So we will use my wooden chopsticks, which we obtained at Costco also. And they are quite versatile. All right, so now we're going to change our focus to the stove top. All right, let's get a good angle for this. All right. I got myself a little water. I'm going to splash a little water in the pan. Oh, I almost forgot the secret ingredient. Now, this is to your own taste. But a little bit of McCormick taco seasoning. This stuff, put it, anytime you cook beef, anytime you cook ground beef anyway, put a little bit of this McCormick taco seasoning in. It will taste so good. It's not really spicy. It's not really salty. It just really goes good with ground beef. I recommend you have a bottle of this or container of it. Put some in your food. This stuff is so good. So, put a little of that in here. All right, now we got that taken care of. Enough, probably. I like a little more. There we go. Alrighty, and now I'm gonna get a little fancy. I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna put just a dash of ranch powder. Gotta be careful with this; it's salty. I like salty food, but my wife doesn't really like her food super salty, so that's something I have to be careful about. I can always add more salt at the table, so I tend to not cook this. If I was cooking for myself, I'd add salt to things, but it's a simple compromise. She doesn't really like things too salty, and I can always add salt later at the dinner table, so it works out. That is the art of a good marriage. You just find these ways you can compromise and things work good. Okay, so I got some water in this pan. I got my chopsticks. We are going to turn on the heat. There we go. Now you can't really see inside. I didn't have the camera hanging upside down or something. Now you can see me. You look at my handsome face. It's so handsome, I decided to cover it up with a beard. All right, so now a little trick to know when things are really done is your onions will actually be a great indicator. When the onions kind of turn a little golden colored, that means basically everything's finished. You're going to see me add just a tad of water here and there. Not a lot, just a little. Stir this around. Yeah, we got this from E-Mart Traders, which is a great place to go. Sometimes we get it from Costco, but the trick is just buy everything in bulk. You can't afford to buy things in small quantities these days. Everything's up in price, but if you buy in bulk, you're paying like half the price. So it's worth it. Just buy in bulk, buy things you use. And you can save some money. I definitely recommend my American friends. I'm a fellow American. Definitely get a membership either at Costco or Sam's Club. Or at least go to Aldi. Aldi you can go to without a membership. But don't waste your money buying things in small quantities. Buy in bulk. Yeah, I didn't quite get this onion quite chopped up as much as I want, so I'm breaking it apart a little. I think it'll fall apart as it cooks. So I'm just getting a slow stirring motion. All these veggies. Frozen veggies, those cook pretty quickly actually, but they'll kind of keep pace with the onions. I'll know it's ready. Everything will be ready when the onions turn golden. So I stir and I stir and I stir. All right. So there we go. We're getting those onions peeled. There we go. Stir it along. I don't go too fast. Just a little slow stir. The wooden chopsticks won't hurt, like coating on the pan, and it's just so easy. It's easy. If I want to pick up something, it's something that here's a slice of onion. I can pick it up, drop it back down. Works really good. So you just stir and stir and stir and stir. Yeah, things are. I'll show you real quick. Don't want to spill the juices, but the onions haven't really turned golden yet. So I'll know when the onions turn golden that we're getting somewhere. We should have bought more spaghetti while we were at Traders. That's okay. We got plenty of spaghetti sauce, actually. I think I should get that out of the pantry, but I will in a minute. We're okay. We got enough of it. By the way, another way to make life easier for yourself, try to make more than you actually need this day, because then you can just warm things up as leftovers. You probably already know that, but it really helps. I kind of got a weird situation. I teach an after-school academy, so I don't actually get off of work until 10 o'clock at night. So it's like, I wish I could go over and cook during the weekdays, but it's just not so practical, as I don't get home until around 10:30, 10:40 at night sometimes. So I'm trying to go over and find ways to make it easier for my lovely wife to go over and not have to do so much work on the weekdays. But on the weekends, I always try to be the chef. That's one way I can make up for things. We usually eat Korean food on the weekdays. She makes a delicious kimchi soup. They call it kimchi jjigae. Just translates to kimchi soup or kimchi stew. It's quite good. And she makes a really good curry. So I like to go over and make it all up by, on the weekends, making something really nice for her. And we just stir and stir and stir. It's getting there now. Yeah, I really appreciate all you people watching, because I tell you, my goal is to be a star. I love my job as an English teacher. And I kind of am a performer in front of them. I put on a performance. My job is to teach them English, of course, but I like to make it entertaining and I like to make it fun. Korean students kind of get a little overworked. They do their regular school, and they go to after-school academies. That's where I work at an after-school academy, and they stay up late, some of them till 10 o'clock like me. So I want to give them a good education, but I also want them to have some fun. So I try to make things fun. All right, these are coming along pretty nicely. Onions are breaking apart. Those frozen veggies, they cook really fast, but they'll be okay. I've done this before. Oh, maybe just a splash more water. There we go. Take a sip for myself, too. Oops. It's cooking along nicely. Not long now. Now, a trick, if you're really pressed for time, if you put 2 pans on both burners, you can boil the noodles and cook the meat. It'll go faster. But as the negative consequence, you got a lot more cleanup, and also then it just becomes a lot more hectic. So if I'm not pressed for time, I prefer just to do it this way. If I was pressed for time, I'd have a second pan on the burner right here. I'd be cooking the meat in this one, and I'd be boiling the noodles in this one. But we're not really in a hurry. Today's kind of a lazy day. There we go. This is almost ready. Almost ready. You know, actually, when I was a teenager, it was funny. I grew up on a farm, and we only had TV, over-the-air TV reception, and there was really only one channel that came in really good, and a handful of other channels that came in as watchable. And then there just was no cable service available. But then, of course, in the mid-90s, DirecTV came out, and we were one of the first customers DirecTV had, and we set up a dish. And then all of a sudden, all those channels were available, and then later on, the Food Network came around. And I was a big fan of watching Chef Emerald. You know, he takes the spices and he goes, bam, like that. I love that. I wanted to be a professional chef, but I took a more practical path forward. I ended up going to Purdue University and majoring in a major called organizational leadership and supervision. It's kind of a supervisory management major. Although Purdue has its own major management, so it's a separate thing. It's a really weird deal. It's a long story. I'll tell you later. But anyway, I majored in that. Another funny thing, after I graduated, I didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life, so I actually enrolled in the master's degree program. And I discovered, because I worked as a teaching assistant while being a graduate student, that I really like teaching, and I realized that was where I was supposed to be. I'm getting a bowl for this stuff here. Okay, so I take this bowl here, and we're going to just dump all this stuff and set it aside in this bowl. So I just take the pan, we just throw everything from the pan into the bowl. There we go. Get that all in there as much as it can. I don't get the pan perfectly clean. Whatever stays inside will just boil along with the noodles because we're going to boil the spaghetti noodles next. Anyway, long story short, I discovered that I liked teaching as a teaching assistant, but I wasn't a teaching major. And I actually looked into teaching in America and actually completed a bunch of the coursework for it, but it just didn't work out. But I knew there was opportunity teaching English in Korea. I found out about that some way. I don't remember how. So I became an English teacher in Korea, and I did that for the lion's share of 20 years until I was lucky enough to meet my lovely wife. And we're now celebrating our third Christmas together as a couple, and we've been happily married for a little over a year now. It's a wonderful thing. So now I got this pan. I could put it in the sink and bring it up to a boil, but I've discovered we actually have a hot water dispenser, so I'll turn this over here. It's actually faster if you do it this way. I'll take a good old-fashioned Pyrex measuring cup, and these things are awesome because you can go over, it has both USA imperial measurements and the metric things that other people use. I'm still a total imperial measurement guy. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways, I just hit hot on this. It'll fill this up and it'll come to a boil so much faster. And plus, I think it makes the spaghetti taste better because this is purified water coming out. And while that fills up, I'm going to grab some spaghetti. All right, here we have good Barilla spaghetti, fresh from Italy. They sell this here in Korea. A lot of stuff I buy, I have imported from America, like that McCormick taco seasoning that was imported from America. But right here in the good old Republic of Korea, you can get Barilla spaghetti. Good, high quality Italian spaghetti. All right, so my water filter is slowly filling up the measuring cup. And it'll actually stop. I've checked this. It'll actually stop on the hot water before it overfills my Pyrex bowl. Actually, if you do this with cold water, it'll overfill containers, but this thing will actually stop just before it overfills. Yeah, like that. Even on the long mode. It won't do that with cold water. So I'm going to, spill on the floor. That's okay. Just do a little mop. I'll wipe it up with my socks. There we go. Now I just do the same thing. Hot water, long cycle, press, and it'll keep going. Now I'm going to take my first round of water and get it up to a boil. This thing will be boiling very soon because the water is already pretty piping hot. It's hot enough to make coffee out of. Watch my other coffee making videos, which I highly recommend you check out. That's water. You can see maybe the steam coming off of that. I'm not sure how good the camera resolution is, but it is letting off steam. Water's getting ready to boil in the pan, but I'm going to dump this almost boiling water into it again. Still, this is way faster than the steaming cold water from the tap. I think the quality's better. All right, so now we take this cup and we dump that into the pan, which is already starting to boil, and we go for another round. Hot, long, go. And we just keep on keeping on. Take care of a few other things here. This is actually a pretty good time to wash the knife. So I'll wait till the snap. I'm going to wash the knife right now. This is a good time to clean up. So I'm not sure where the camera placed good for this, but that's all right. I'm washing the knife. Just give it a little washing. So far. Go. And that's all. And we'll stick that in the drawer. And here. And we got another round of hot water ready. And the water's already boiling in the pan. Meanwhile, I think we need just a little more water. So we'll set that going. And this is a good chance to wash the cutting board. So there's more water comes out. Get our cutting board good and washed up. Okay, there we go. Cutting board's all nice and clean. This will be the last batch of water we need. In fact, I might not put all the water in the pan. That's probably enough. I can cut it short. There we go. All right. I'm going to use this cup later for a secret I'm going to show you. We're actually going to make holiday eggnog in a few minutes. So I'm going to need this cup for that. I'm just going to let this cup set off to the side. Now we got our meat and veggies ready. Now it's time for the spaghetti action. So I still have my little chopsticks here. They are going to still prove quite useful. So I try not to completely destroy this box. I'm not quite going to use a full box. I'm not doing a great job at not destroying it. I want it to be halfway resealable because I'm not going to use the full box. And later I'll use the leftovers. All right, I'm going to use about 2/3 or 4/5 of the package. Now, how you cook your spaghetti is up to you, but my mother always breaks the spaghetti in half, and that's just the way I do it. So you just take the spaghetti, one hand like this, one hand like this, and give it a good snap. And drop her in. Now quickly, you want this consistent. Okay, so there we go. I've left about this much in the box. We'll use that later on some other day. But if I do all the spaghetti, it'll soak up all the sauce and it'll be too dry. Now, this is important. Quickly, start stirring this around. If you don't, the spaghetti noodles will stick together. You don't want them to stick together. You want to keep these things. You want to kind of shake them up, shake them up, shake them up, shake them up, shake them up. You do not want the noodles to stick together. That's bad. So this is again where chopsticks really are handy. You can really manipulate the noodles the way you please here. Just shake these noodles up. Until they start to get a little flexible. Okay, now the box will give you all the suggested times and stuff. It says 5 minutes. I don't cook pasta by time. I cook pasta by taste. And I recommend if you're going to be a serious pasta chef, just throw away your timer when it comes to pasta. Although I do use timers for other things. We have this cute little Apple timer here. It's kind of cute. It goes over and makes this sound there. But we will not be using that today because I cook spaghetti by taste. And again, these little chopsticks are handy little devices. They will pull those strands right out. All right, now while this cooks along, I'm going to set up a blender because we are going to do eggnog tonight. I'm probably going to do eggnog again next week, and we'll have our own dedicated eggnog video. But this one is just special for you if you happen to be tuned in. I love this there. My wife actually has a real heavy-duty blender. This is a heck of a nice blender that my wife has. And I'm going to check inside because we made kimchi a couple of weeks ago, and we blended up shrimp into a puree on it, and that thing really stuck around even after we washed it. So I'm going to give this a sniff and see. Ooh, yeah, you can still smell that shrimp. So I'm going to have to go over and actually, that shrimp smell. It's been cleaned a couple times, but that shrimp smell does not want to go away. So I am putting soap inside. We're going to blend soap. Yeah, I got to be careful because I don't want to get things on the computer. That's enough. All right, so I'm going to move our computer back just a little bit for safety because we do not want to mess up the computer. I'm going to give it a little stir. Now the spaghetti is getting softer. Just give it a little stir. As we do that, I am going to plug in our blender because it still has a bit of a shrimpy smell to it. And shrimp is not a good ingredient for eggnog. All right. Spaghetti later. Okay, so now we put this here. We're just going to wash this around. The thing's clean. It just has a shrimp smell that does not want to die. All right. There's a stir. And if you are wearing headphones right now, I suggest you lower your volume control right now. Lower that headphone volume because things are about to get really, really noisy. Okay, guys? You've been warned to lower that volume because it's going to get real noisy. for us to taste a noodle and see how we're coming on that. I don't think they're ready yet. I'll just grab a noodle with the chopsticks. No, it's still crunchy. Not ready yet. Didn't think it was, but that's how you cook pasta according to taste. Don't follow timers. Follow your. You gotta pull out noodles and taste it. So I got soapy water. That's no good to eat. So we're gonna dump that out. We're gonna keep rinsing this thing. So all those soap suds are out of here. Yeah. Beware of grinding shrimp into a puree for kimchi in your blender. You may never get that smell entirely out, but you can get it out for the time being. Problem is, the thing's plastic. If this thing had a glass container, it wouldn't be an issue. But you know, plastic will pick up those smells. Never really let them go. Oh, this eggnog is really sweet. I'm hoping that the sweetness of the eggnog will overcome it a bit. Yeah, get that ready. Once I get this done, I need to check the spaghetti again. It might be getting finished. Okay, I think we got that. I'm getting nervous about spaghetti. I'm going to check it. You don't want to go over. You can always cook it longer, but you can't uncook the spaghetti. Let's see, get it. Ooh, it's too stuck. Yeah. Not quite. We're getting there. Close, but not quite yet. Not quite yet. Also want to give a good rinse to this area. So, opening the top, you can drop things in with. We're not going to use that, but I just want to. Ooh, I can smell it. I think I'm going to put some soap on the top of it. Just get that shrimp smell out of this. I don't know if we'll ever get that shrimp smell out. But it was worth it to get all the kimchi we made. And go ahead and watch our kimchi making videos. They're quite neat, and they feature my very nice mother-in-law who went over and took a lot of time and effort to go over and help us make some fantastic kimchi. I haven't tasted it yet, but I'm really looking forward to that in a few months, as it's right now slowly fermenting into its perfection inside our kimchi refrigerator. We are almost there. Okay, our blender is prepared. I'm going to get that set up a little. But right now the priority is our spaghetti. So I'll set this off to the side. Oh, there we go. People disagree about how to close things. For me, I like to close everything with tape. My wife prefers closing with clips. Even with this, there is no way to clip it really. You gotta use tape. Just take the fold. I think I got it wet. There we go. That tape and tape that puppy down. There we go. Now it's done. That is taped. This spaghetti is probably just about ready. Just about. I'm going to try a few more strands. We're getting there. The other weekend, we were hosting my niece over here, and we love having her over. But I got a little distracted looking at the phone when I was cooking, and I cooked the spaghetti just a minute longer than I wanted to. It was still okay, but I felt like I missed the mark. So I would have stopped the cooking a minute earlier if I had the opportunity. So this time I don't want to make the same mistake. I'm going to. That's just about it. Maybe a minute longer. So you want to be really swift about getting all the noodles. You probably are going to have to do at least 2 or 3 grab and breaks with the noodles. So you don't want to waste too much time because you want these noodles to cook uniformly. Okay. Yeah, that's done. Now, you could use a strainer, but again, here's the chopsticks come in. Yeah, with spaghetti, this works really good. With other pastas, it's not as easy. But I just take these 2 chopsticks, I hold them over the edge, and I drain that water out. And don't worry, your spaghetti will be pretty safe. Well, of course, now I'm on camera, and I'm struggling more than I usually do because of performance anxiety. I might lose a couple noodles overboard, but that's not the end of the world. Of course, if you have a strainer, that will work quite easily. Now the noodles are drained. We have a pretty easy job in front of us now. We need spaghetti sauce, and maybe we have some around there. Here we go. We just bought more of this stuff over at Trader's today, actually. This is a Korean brand here, I guess. Got Korean letters on it. It does English. You see that a lot in Korea, actually. It'll go over and mix Korean and English. Not much different from America. You'll see things in English and Spanish. So in Korea, you'll see a lot of things that'll be in English and Korean. So it makes it pretty easy. It's not too hard to live here in Korea, honestly. And even if you don't speak the language, someday I'll learn how to speak it, but it's a little tricky. All right, so now we just take there we go, nice pop. And dump that sauce right on top of the spaghetti. And hang on, I'm not going to waste what's in here. You'll see what I'll do next. This is a good chance just to fold things in. So I'm going to dump all of our vegetables and meat in here. There we go. All those veggies and meat. Get them thrown in the fold. Give it a little stir with our chopsticks. There's still a good portion of sauce still in here. There's just such an easy way to do this when you have a hot water dispenser. Just take the jar, put it on hot water, and pour a little hot water into the jar. That's enough. Got a little hot water in the jar. We just put the lid back on, make sure we got that nice and secure, and keep your hand on top of it. Give her a good shake over the sink is not a bad idea in case a disaster happens, because nobody wants a little tomato tornado. Tomato tornadoes are no fun. Okay. So there you go. Now almost all the sauce is down the bottom. And I will just toss that into the pan like so. And I'll usually look. Sometimes I'll give it a second round. But we cleaned this one out pretty good. I think that's pretty much done. Okay, so now the spaghetti and the noodles, everything's kind of done. So, this is pretty much ready. I am going to step out just for a minute and probably tell my lovely wife things are basically ready and she can start serving herself while we go on to making eggnog. So just hang tight for about 1 minute and good old Indiana Jake will be back. Everybody stop.
Okay.
So we are back and my lovely wife has joined us.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, our spaghetti is
so-
pretty much done.
Okay.
So she's going to serve herself while I prepare the eggnog. It doesn't take that long to make. I just get some tongs. She likes a serving spoon and also cook the sauce. Sometimes the sauce falls through the tongs too much, so a serving spoon and tongs work well. Okay. So as she serves herself, now the catch is, because we put in the sauce cold, the noodles are going to be cold. So you're going to have to put the plate into the microwave afterwards because you got cold sauce and plus the meat kind of got a little cold while we were cooking the noodles. So you got to microwave it for a couple minutes. I like my stuff cooked piping hot. My lovely wife likes hers a little less piping hot, but that's according to your taste. All right, now we're going to do some fun stuff. Okay, so we're in the Christmas season.
I think we have another video of that.
Oh, we're going to do
Because
it.
eggnog is very popular.
We will do a dedicated video to this. Oh, and we got a guest, whoever's viewing in. I'm so happy you're here. You're going to see us making holiday eggnog. So, if we made this from scratch, it would be quite the challenge to get all the ingredients right. Luckily, thanks to the magic of international shipping, we have this ready-made mix. And that sure makes life a lot easier. If you want eggnog, yes, if you're in America during the holiday season, you can get eggnog at every grocery store pre-made. But you know, if you have this mix, you could have Christmas in July and make eggnog then if you want to. This bag's almost done, but we have a second bag on hand. I think we got enough in this bag to handle our batch today. I just go over and follow the basic directions and multiply everything by 4. So it says put in 3 ounces of drink mix. So 3 times 4 is 12. So I'll just go up to 12 ounces. And I don't care what people say. Imperial measurements are the way to go.
Don't make too many.
I won't.
Because
Okay. All righty. So, here we go. We're going to put in 12 ounces of, this stuff's basically pure sugar. It's not exactly health food. I might be going on a diet come January, but nobody goes on a diet in December. That's just unheard of to go on a December diet. That's why all the gyms go and sponsor the New Year's festivities on Times Square, Planet Fitness or whatever. They do that because they know that's when people are going to start there. Actually, I am a gym member, believe it or not, but I haven't been there in a while. Had an unfortunate thing, broke a toe earlier this year, but I'm pretty much healed up from that now. So I might start going to the gym again as weather starts getting colder. We have a gym in our apartment complex, and they have really reasonable prices for us to be members. There we go. So we got 12 ounces of drink mix. So we are going to take this and we're going to dump it into the blender. Boom. There it goes. Okay, the next important ingredient is milk. Okay, so 6 ounces of milk. That means we need 26 times 4 is 24 ounces. So we need 24 ounces of milk, which we will have momentarily. I'm going to finish off an old jug. Oh, and get the carton. I should use the carton next. This is not 1% milk or something, is it?
No.
Good. I don't like skim milk is not milk. I don't care what you say. I try to avoid controversial stands on this channel, but skim milk is not milk. All right, so we are going to pour out. I can't put 24 ounces into this container at once, so I'm going to do 24 divided by 2 equals 12. So I'm going to do 2 rounds of 12 ounces to equal 24. Actually, maybe this container is going to have enough. Just short. That's okay. We got a carton to fill that. That wouldn't matter if it was skim, probably, because I'm just going to put a dash of milk from this carton that we got. This is kind of funny. It's called No Brand, and I think that's funny because inherently, by calling yourself No Brand, you are a brand, but it's a thing in Korea. So we're going to put a little No Brand milk. And if you look at one of our previous videos, another fake brand of milk is from Traders. It's called My Milk, and I strongly suggest you check out our video archive and look up the My Milk video. And by the way, this is a great time to hit that subscribe button. Hey. My lovely wife thought that was funny when I said that. All right, so now we do this. Now, this is a very family-friendly channel, so we're going to add ingredient X. And ingredient X we will not mention by name. It will just be ingredient X. And I'm going to arrange this off camera. Ingredient X. We'll say this is iced tea. That's ingredient X. All right. Ingredient X is added. And now to make this taste yummy, we need some ice. Okay, I got a couple ice trays ready to go. Lots of ice in this. It goes over and gives it kind of a crystally taste, which is good. You want that crystally taste. All right. So I toss these things in the blender. I might do my own exclusive video later just about eggnog, but for those of you who have stayed tuned to this, you got a bonus preview. We're probably going to do an exclusive video just about eggnog in the coming future, probably next week, because next week is Christmas week. All right. And we just get some more ice. Sorry, my head's not in this video. Maybe I should raise the thing a little. There we go. You don't really need to see the base of the blender. Yeah, it looks much better. All right. So just put in plenty of ice. Don't worry. You won't put in too much. The sugar is pretty strong in this stuff. Incidentally, I'm not getting paid by them, but the brand is called Java Frost. You can find it on Amazon. That's where we got it. So if you want to do this yourself, just go over and do that. We didn't get a dime for promoting that, but tell you what, if you do go over and buy some, tell them that we promoted it. Maybe they'll sponsor us. All right. So we got all the ice ready. We were actually thinking about buying a new fridge, actually, and I'm looking forward to that because the model we're thinking about has an automatic ice maker in it, and that would be really handy for this. Using these ice trays. But for the moment, we're using what we got. All right, now, if you are using headphones, everybody, this is a great time to lower that volume control because this is going to get noisy. So here's your warning. Lower that headphone volume now. You've been warned. My wife thinks this is funny. Nobody likes getting their eardrums blasted out. So you've been warned. Now here we go. To leak out the sides. I gotta use this to break up the ice a little bit. It's not too much. It's because of the motion. All right, now I'm gonna go over and put it into full. See, it doesn't really happen. It doesn't necessarily break the ice. So anyway, this is where it's going to get a little noisy because the ice is still mostly whole. It needs to be broken up. So this is where we might have a little spillover, but it won't be a big deal. We just wipe up the little spillover. Just wipe it. We have huge ice chunks still inside, and we got to break that ice or it'll never melt. All right. I gotta put it into probably didn't crush up all the ice properly, but we're going to spoon this out in a ladle anyway. So this is a great time to unplug your blender because it would be most unfortunate to accidentally turn on the blender after the lid was removed because it would be one spectacular mess if the blender were to be started now. One real spectacular mess. Okay, we're done with the lid. I can toss the lid in the sink. And I am going to get a couple of festive mugs. There, we got some matching mugs right here. And I spilled a little on the floor that I'm going to wipe up. I better wipe that up good or else it'll get all sticky. There we go. Now, just grab a nice quality, that's not a good one. Let's grab a good quality ladle. Awesome. Well, I guess we'll use this one now. Guess we use this one. All right. And I think the best way to do this is to serve over the container. There we go. And a little is going to spill down the side. There's no getting around it. We're just about to wrap things up because we're going to enjoy our meal together ourselves. But I like mine with some whipped cream on top. I'm not sure if my lovely wife wants it that way. Would you like some whipped cream on your?
No thanks.
She's going to have hers without whipped cream. I'm going to have mine with. There we go. So I will take mine. And we're going to wrap up this video real soon. We're just going to go over and if my lovely wife would join me up here for a second, we are going to give a little toast to each other and say goodbye to the audience. So I want to say to you, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And
Happy New Year.
That's right. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Jacob.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.